he doesn't know what he's doing. Jerry's here. Tremendous. That's a man of action right there. What? Jerry? Yeah. Yeah, he's going to sit in front of you and take your microphone away. Oh, yeah. Oh, dang it. Come on now. Come on. Don't let him head you, Jerry. Come on now.
Pass the buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all ready down there? Y'all good? Excellent. Like to call the Board of Supervisors meeting to order. As always, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We do have a quorum. We do need to adopt an agenda. Anybody have anything they need to add to the agenda? Anything down there?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
What would y'all like to do?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. As always, public comment. Public comment. Good to see you, Miss Montgomery. We'll do it again at the end. Constitutional officers, county departments, committees, and organizations. All right, Ed Warren, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. Couple of updates for you guys. Cowan Roofing, they called me today saying that the columns have been finished, so they're trying to get a lift in to finish the bell tower at the courthouse within the next 2 weeks, and that project will be completed. Also, the sheriff's office, the leak, we got it done before all the hurricane came through, and we were successful at finding the hole, so that was a good thing. Another update with the sheriff's department, Riddleberger, the parts came in yesterday. Riddleberger is scheduled to be in there mid-morning tomorrow to put the new thermostats in, see if we can get that building from producing so much moisture. They think they can have it resolved tomorrow afternoon. Now, the next thing is the courthouse. I have a few pictures up here. We had a leak up there with a unit, and we've already reported to VACORP, and I'm just waiting for my final invoices. The condensation line clogged up from the sweat and the algae it built up during the summer because of the hot heat. So it ran into the wall back there. I called the contractor in, we ripped it out, found a little bit of damage behind the wall. The wainscoting was ruined. So this project is almost completed. They're coming in on Friday to paint the whole courthouse downstairs, courtroom, because it's kind of hard to match up paint when it's 15, 16 years old, the same finish and all that. So we're going to get that done while we're in the process. And that's the end of my report.
And that has been submitted to our insurance company.
How many columns is the courthouse getting up there?
8.
8. All right. And they're like 10 feet tall, I understand.
Yeah, they were a little shorter, and I don't know how that changed any. So they added to the bottom and the top of it to make it fit. So
Good.
all that's completed, and it will be installed within 2 weeks.
Good. Anybody have any questions for Mooney? Mooney, thank you. Jerry.
Testing. Okay. So Parks and Rec, we are in our fall sports season, and wrapping up. Well, we're not wrapping it up. We're in the middle of that. Our winter sports registration just opened up last week, I believe. We are busy right now trying to catch up on the grass and mowing and painting all the soccer fields and football fields. Gosh, this must be 10 of them total we have to do, and we keep up with the schools' fields too. This year, I believe the ag department with Chase Berry has been helping us on that, and that's been a really big help. So it's really nice been working with the schools on that. That's about all I got. Haunted Woods, October 26th. Anybody who wants to help scare? Anything to help? We appreciate it. October 19th, we have Halloween Fest. That's geared more towards the little kids. And I believe the bids for the Outdoor Rec Center are due by the 31st. Is that correct, Jonathan?
31st to 2 p.m.
And I'm hoping to announce some really big news, good news on that soon, on the Outdoor Rec Center.
Any questions for Jerry? Thank you, Jerry.
Thank y'all.
Tracy.
Good afternoon. It's October is Virginia Wine Month, so go celebrate that for everybody. At the top of my report is just a short from MAP Drones from Taste of the Mountains. And we got our second draft report from the Go Virginia Wine Cluster Growth Grant, and we are applying for the implementation grant. So we were supposed to have the final draft of that the end of the month to see where we're going with that one. I attended the town's grant meeting on September 19th. That's moving along as well. Met with Candace Spence from the Central Virginia Partnership and Katie regarding entrepreneurial opportunities, especially the VTOP fund, and I'm going to get the more specifications on that. That they would apply for us because there are businesses with 150 or less employees as far as getting interns in to the businesses, but it's only during certain times. What are you looking at? I want an intern. Get your own. So I'm getting more information on that one. Did attend the conference the 23rd through the 26th in South Boston with absolutely no service in my room. Tornado warnings. It was a lot of fun. TV wasn't even working, but it was a good conference. Just didn't get a lot of stuff done. Tourism committee met the 17th of September, and we're planning the parade in Mary Madison. So we're doing all those ads. And I also hosted the Go Virginia Tourism Directors, so that's different than our planning district. It's all the ones from Fauquier to Nelson. That's important for the information I'm going to give you next. Met with them first, then we had Virginia Tourism come in, and then we had Shenandoah National Park come in at Prince Michelle, September 30th. So that very lengthy PowerPoint is attached to that, and it was just interesting to see with those particular counties, they gave specific information for those areas included. But special notice on, I think it's page 9, where we saw the largest growth in tourism jobs in the region, 20% above 2019 levels, where Louisa, Rappahannock, and Culpeper have recovered, and jobs in Nelson, Fauquier, and Fluvanna are still 9% less to 11% less. So that was actually good news for us. They've also termed a lot of the people that are coming to our region as enriched travelers. So we used to say the travelers that liked history and things, but these are enriched travelers, so they like the outdoor, obviously, we found that out, like those areas. And I included the actual press release because I didn't have that yet for our numbers. For last year that were up 7 million. And then tomorrow I'll be hanging out at the high school in the morning with the hospitality and tourism class, answering all their questions, and I want to hear more about that class too. Headed to VA1, the State's Tourism Summit, November 13th. And we will have our Central Virginia Partnership meeting. We had it on Friday. So the next possible Go Virginia grant will be another site readiness grant, but we got to go through that whole process. So we've already agreed we will, if there was one that was big enough to carry us all, we would all obviously do that, but we're hoping to get one in each county again like we did before. And I think that's all I've got right now.
All right, how many millions does it say, Cardi? What, for Madison?
Oh.
It was 22.
22 million.
22.
4% increase, but the big takeaway from that, if I can get back to my press release that stuck to me, was the fact that spending has increased 37% from 2019. So we've not only recovered, we have improved. significantly.
So, Tracy, I did not know that Madison was the first summer White House.
Before
I also
Camp
do not
David.
know where that is.
Camp Hoover.
Huh?
Camp Hoover,
They call-
Shenandoah National Park.
They call that the White House?
The first summer White House.
Oh, I mean, I've been up there a gazillion times, and I've never referred to it as a summer White House.
No, if you were from here.
I just never referred to it like that.
It's
Okay.
only on the first page of our brochure. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
That is excellent. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Tracy? Please.
Tracy, how's the traffic in the breweries and the wineries? I know it's slacked off some. Is it pretty strong, staying strong?
Very strong. Yeah. Well, what have you seen? You haven't seen that? Oh, we haven't seen that, but that brings up a good point. Not something we were celebrating, but in that same meeting on the 30th, we talked about because of all the damage and everything in North Carolina, we could see significant these upcoming weekends for people that were supposed to be going there, maybe coming up here. I've been doing a lot of that, speaking of misinformation, because people see Blue Ridge Parkway and they think Shenandoah National Park. The park's open. It's just the parkway that's closed. So
Yeah, the few wineries I talked to, they lost half their harvest too with all this rain from the previous hurricane.
but some of the events, yeah, that we've attended, it's actually been up,
Yeah.
like having trouble parking. So
I was saying that 22.9 million is before Mary Woodward opened. So next year, it's gonna be better. Good. All right, anything else for Tracy? All right, Jamie Wilkes.
Well, good afternoon, Board. I apologize. I was out of town last week, so I didn't have a report ready for Kim to publish. So I'll give you one verbally. We're staying steady in the office, fully staffed now, as you know. We issued 103 new permits last month. We also 5 new land disturbance permits. And in the zoning, Alan is settled in. You know, he's getting the flow of things, learning how things operate. So we're working well together with him. Joe with erosion sediment control. Of course, he's been busy a little bit. That big rainstorm created some issues he had to check on. And let's see, in the building department, like I said last week, I was at the Virginia Building Code Officials Conference. So it's the statewide conference. And I told you about the permits, 103 permits. In just case you're wondering, this is Fire Prevention Week, fire and building stuff together. The last thing is, talk about some certifications and training. Janet just got her permit tech certification, so that's a great thing. She just got certified, been to classes, the testing. This week, Carl has started his commercial classes, so he's in commercial building inspection class. Next week, Joe's going to the residential plumbing class. So we're starting to see a lot of our staff members get additional training. So we're cross-training. It's going to help everything out, you know. People can do multiple tasks. We have more staff to do the tasks. And then Alan has signed up for his VASO courses. They're sometime in December. I can't remember when. And then Janet will be attending 1 or 2 of the classes as well. So we got a lot of people getting a lot of training, getting certifications. These are all big pluses for the county. That's pretty much it, unless you have any questions.
Where was the building convention?
I had to go down to Virginia Beach on the ocean front. I had to tough it out for you guys.
Rough area, I understand. All right, anybody have any questions, please? Yes, sir.
Jamie, so how is single-family home building still staying strong? Or
Still steady. We're getting them coming in. Sometimes it looks like maybe 1 month's a little bit lower, but then the next month's a little bit up. Since I've been here, I've noticed no decrease. Maybe a little increase from when I came here in 2019.
okay.
It's steady, and cost of materials, the cost of mortgage rates seems to be irrelevant. Hasn't slowed down.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else? Noah? Thanks, Jamie Wilkes.
Good afternoon. So September was busy, 168 calls, 10 minutes was our average response time, continuing to help green and orange. Happy to report our NUA time decreased by about 50%, so it was 8 times. The month before it was 16. And we've got 2 full-time vacancies. Our paramedic is continuing to be a challenge. We're now about 4.5, 5 months without getting much traction. I am working with a part-time employee right now who's expressed interest in coming on full-time, so I hope to be able to report that we have it filled. Provided standby events for the football games, Woodbury, and the Hoover Ridge Youth Rally. Continuing to work, thanks to Gavin. He's kind of taking the lead on our pharmacy. So all of our things are in place. We're just working through internal procedures. Going to do a live order this month to be ready for the end of November when it goes live. I'd also like to recognize Jeremy Holland. He is one of our part-time paramedics and took on revamping our patient care guidelines. It's huge. So he spent lots of time, effort, got input from the team, and thankfully those are, for the most part, done. It's a really good job. Grants. So we do have a Rescue Squad Assistance Fund grant. I applied for a quick response vehicle and an ambulance, and that's a 50-50 matching grant. I also applied for the Gary Sinise Foundation grant for a quick response vehicle, and that's a non-matching grant. We should know 3 to 6 months from now if we get awarded. What I'm tracking is our primary response vehicle, Response 3, is aging, and then next month, Tiffany will be presenting on our community paramedic program. Lots of good news, very excited, and we're trying to get her a vehicle for that. Final thing is to update you all on the Virginia Office of EMS. This is an ongoing deal. So there's a link to the full audit from Fitch & Associates. It's about 100 and some pages. The synopsis is in mid-2023, VDH and OEMS identified $33 million in financial discrepancies caused by overspending, poor fiscal management, and fraud. So how has that impacted us? They paused the fall RSAF grant. While we're trying to manage the pharmacy changes, we would have been able to apply for, to outfit that. But we cannot apply for things that are already on order. So that put a loop in it. So we would have put in for an ambulance, a quick response vehicle, and the pharmacy outfit, and I'm putting the estimated funding if we were awarded, and it's a best guess would be around $300,000 if they had that cycle. The EMS Scholarship Fund is currently on hold, so we've used this to help fund EMTs going to paramedic school and ongoing staff training. ESO, which is our patient care software. So when we go on a call, we have to document everything that we've done and what we've seen. The state used to sponsor that, and that's going away. The other impact is our revenue recovery. So we pay a portion of monthly transports to our billing company at a rate of 7.5% because the state paid for that. That's going away. Before the state changed, we were at 9.35%, and that rate may go up, I don't know. And then finally, HandTevi, which is a app on your phone that helps our providers reference when they have a sick kid. The state took care of that, and now they're not. So we're doing the bill for that. Thankfully, I was able to work with the Northern Virginia Emergency Response System. They were able to get a rate, like a group rate, so it saved us some money. And really, operationally, it's too soon to tell. Do have Pepe here from the Thomas Jefferson EMS Council. If you have any specific questions on the council and kind of what's going on, I'm sure he's happy to help. But there's a lot of moving pieces between the pharmacy and RSAF grants and staffing and just a lot. But we're running calls and doing well. Happy to answer questions.
All right. Any questions for Noah?
No, nothing other than, Noah, could you send that report to us in
Yes, sir.
hard copy or soft copy?
The report or the audit?
The report, which will have the link to the audit in it, I think, right?
Yes, sir.
If you would. That was a lot. In your
It is a lot.
report just now.
Yeah,
I need
and
to
there's,
get it so I can hold it and read it.
yeah,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
No, I'm just FYI, I stopped into the business up in our neck of the woods up north and asked them how the county's doing, and just in general, like, are we serving them the way they need to be served, and can we do anything to help his business? And he's just like, I'm not political, so he goes, but I started saying, he goes, I guess what everybody would say is lower taxes. And I'm like, well, if you lower taxes, you're going to lower your services. I go, like the fire department, the EMS, building permits, he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's right. He goes, if it wasn't for EMS, he goes, my wife wouldn't be here right now, so I got to thank them. So,
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, so it was a positive thing.
Thank you. Yeah, we continue to get, I mean, and kudos to the team. They're the ones doing the work. I mean, every week I'm getting thank you cards. We're getting donations. It's good forward movement.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
I'll just add to that two things. One, rural community, limited resources, everything that you all know and speak to. We already had the transition of pharmacy, which had an impact. Our team did great planning for that when it was kind of that light switch was turned on. See, we're already feeling some impacts. We'll talk. I sent around recently, but I'm soliciting department heads' response to legislative issues. But when we meet next time, we'll have some feedback. But fire and EMS, and there's even some language in there about our dispatch, the challenges faced, and maybe some lobbying for funding for those programs. So we're already feeling the impact with pharmacy. We hope that doesn't continue with ambulances or anything else. But I would encourage you when we have legislative day. I know Mr. Jewett, Mr. Buchanan went down last year. I think that's very impactful when you meet with our representatives. So no more impact to rural communities is what we're pushing for.
And we're still tracking the extended lead time on the ambulances.
Yeah, what are
Just-
we, like 28 months out or something
Yes,
of
sir.
that nature?
Yep.
Are they hiring better people at OEMS now? Like people, I don't know, that are slightly responsible? Pepe, is this your question? I mean, I don't know how you could do worse than that.
I think he'd like to answer.
In a public forum, I'm going to make sure that I'm clean in my answer.
Yeah.
Currently, the director of OEMS is still in interview stage. They're still screening the potential candidates. They're hopeful that they'll have somebody identified by January. I'm not going to bet my mortgage on it, and because this has been a process that they were hopeful to have somebody in place in July. And we definitely need somebody EMS oriented in order to put the evolution of this issue behind us and learn from it, grow from it, and move forward and reattain the status of EMS for Virginia, especially in the rural counties. But we can't do it without a good leader. And it's, like I said, is hopeful to be identified by January.
You have other things you'd like to share from the Thomas Jefferson EMS Council? Oh yeah, keep positive. Are you running for office? All right.
We are, the one thing we are doing right now is outside of OEMS, the council is operating a feasibility study for rural agencies in Madison, Nelson, Fluvanna, Louisa, and Greene County for Centera Martha Cares. And with that information, we're hopeful that we're going to be able to enhance the telehealth and the community paramedicine programs in the region. Now, as we're moving forward, I do expect the council to change. How that's going to change is, and once you get to that page in the 156-page document that Noah gave you the link for, that is just one option. There are multiple options, and if I could just real quickly, the options that the consultants brought in were very similar to what they presented 15 years ago when they were brought in for another financial situation. So to your point, yes, hopefully they find somebody with moral fortitude to lead the EMS agency forward. However, in getting to that point, if we can show that we have standardized programs for community paramedicine, identifying the access to care by our residents, showing the collaboration of those resources that are in each county, and then identifying what's different between the counties, and showing that standardization of the community paramedicine mobile integrated health components. UVA and Martha Jefferson are both on board with community outreach, and we're trying to make that happen in a organized fashion so that we're not over inundating the officers out in the agencies who are already over inundated themselves. However, as we're looking forward to this, these are the things that I'm looking for the council's future. As the council potentially could change, there's going to be potentially could have a lot more counties in a set council. Madison may be, one of the options is Madison going to a different council than where it currently exists. The one thing I'm looking at is if TGEMS, and I don't mean to get too much into the weeds of this, but if TGEMS dissolves, in our incorporation of articles of incorporation, we identified how we were, once liabilities are taken care of, all the assets would be separated out to the agencies that were supportive throughout the years. We'll come up with an algorithm. We'll be looking at the directors to help with their perspectives in that as well. But I'm looking at opportunities working with either Blue Ridge Community Foundation or Charlottesville Albemarle Community Foundation, so that those assets can be put into a community foundation where the, if you will, the founding agencies or the founding jurisdictions of TGEMS would be able to gain back from that some ROI of their support over the years, even if they are part of a different council. And other than that, OEMS is very confusing, lack of communication, and it's just very challenging. We're trying to do our best to get the right information to Noah and Gavin, but we're also relying on them because they're also getting information from other EMS stakeholders, and we're just making sure that everybody's getting the right information and reacting to it appropriately as we're moving forward.
All right. Any questions for Pepe? Thank you. Gavin?
Good evening, everyone. Very small report. I also didn't get mine filed with Kim. My apologies. I blame Jamie for that since he was out of town last week. So, well, it worked for him. At any rate, still working on our emergency shelter and the generator and what have you. So that's coming right along. I would imagine the next couple months will be pretty close to completion. And I'm still in progress on the 2024 EOP update. So I hope to have that wrapped up by the end of the month and then brought to you guys next month. Quaker Run Fire, same thing. I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks we'll have everything submitted on our side. It's been a very challenging process, back and forth as it always is with the public assistant grants. And then the last thing I have is we do have a flu shot clinic that will be this Thursday at the firehouse from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We did have to make a change due to the hall not being available last minute, but it will be in one of the bays or through one of the bays. So it won't be a drive-through, but we'll set up in there. It'll work out fine. Weather should be working with us on that. And that's all I have for you.
Do you have any questions for Gavin? Thank you, Gavin.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sean?
Good evening. So for the 911 center, we received 431 911 calls, 82 of which were from home phones, 349 cell phones. Admin calls we took in 1,912, and then we made 961. Total call volume through the center, 3,304, which we're running still about 106% of what we're doing. So we're like I said, that constant uptick. All those calls created 1,136 calls for service this month, brought our yearly total up to 10,678, and that's up also. For the radio project, I know we completed our system coverage testing in the month. Brian will be touching on that here in a moment. Staffing, I have one of my dispatchers is in the academy getting certification. I did implement the second supervisor position, and as a result, there's been positive results. In the month of September, I did have a dispatcher resign and move to another agency, another county. When she left, the supervisor stepped up and both of them split the shifts, bringing my overtime requirement down. So that was a positive result of having that second supervisor position. At the time of this report, I did have 2 vacancies. I had the application process open. But as of yesterday, I have extended offers to two candidates, and they both accepted, and they both anticipate starting on the 15th of this month, so next Tuesday.
Either of them have experience?
One does. One has been through the academy already, so she should be pretty quick to get out on the floor as a minimum staffing, which was a relief. And the other one will have to go through the entire process, which the next academy will be in February of 25. And that's the end of my report. Any questions?
Just real quick, so we had a dispatcher leave to another county?
Yes.
What reason? Closer to home, pay?
It was both. She actually moved to Louisa and took a job in Louisa for roughly the same pay, but obviously a shorter drive. So it's kind of like both compensation and location. She understands that, of course, if she wants to come back, you know, she's open arms. She was a good dispatcher.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Sean.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, Greg Cave. Tell us about the animal shelter.
All right. Animal control calls for service was slightly down from last month, even though it didn't seem like it. We had 68 calls handled in person, 54 calls handled by phone, and 16 emergency calls. Personnel who I have with me here today, I'd like to welcome Mr. Ian Collier as a new Deputy Animal Control Officer. His first official day was September the 23rd, so he's been here just a little over 2 weeks. He's currently in training, doing well, and he will be attending the academy not until next year. That's the closest that we could find one, scheduled for around end of March of next year. Mr. Collier is already enrolled now as a new member through VACA and NACA. That's the Virginia Animal Control Association and the National Animal Control Association. And training, I attended 2 online trainings through Justice Clearinghouse. And monthly narrative, we did have 2 seizure court hearings. One was regarding the stray goat that was found in Etland, and the other was 2 dogs, 5 puppies that were seized from an individual. Annette was able to get all of them transferred to a rescue. The dangerous dog case, I'm sorry.
What about the goat?
Yeah, rescue.
Rescue. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you
Goat
go.
rescue.
Good to know. All right, keep going.
Did you want it?
No.
We can get it back. We can get
Somebody got your goat.
And just to update you on the dangerous dog case, that has been finalized. This was regarding the dog that was declared dangerous in Shenandoah County and now resides in Madison County. So don't be alarmed. Part of the order of owning, possessing a dangerous dog is you must either confine the dog indoors or outside in a kennel. In this particular case, the individual has stated he's going to keep the dog inside his residence. The dog doesn't appear to be aggressive towards people. It's just doesn't like other animals. So that's all my report. If you have any questions.
Who has questions for Greg Cave? Thank you, Greg Cave. All right, now welcome, Mr. Collier. Glad to have you with us.
Are you next? You sure? All right.
We like to break up the trends. Go ahead, Livingston. Tell us something, sure, preferably.
Nice to see all of y'all. It's been a month. So we got our new guy on board, Federico. I'm gonna butcher his last name, Stripaccio or something like that. But we have begun after 2 weeks getting him absorbed into it. We now got him on a training regiment. One thing, we went for the position and we waited for the position, and then we got the guy, and now we're like, okay, we got to have a training plan. And so we took a couple weeks, got him acclimated, and we got him now going around. He's going to be going to every building and toning out the network jacks and relabeling all the ports and the switches. So that's all been work that's been needing to be done that we just haven't had time to do it. He's got the ticket queue under control. He seems to be, waiting on that and handling that real well. So Alan and I are tag teaming on training him at different stuff throughout the day. But thank you. We needed him. We got work for him to do, and he's hard at it right now. This ticket thing that's rolling off the screen, that's our ticket count. We can do more in detail about it. They come in all the time. It was a kind of a slow week this week, but that explains what we're doing. Other than that, Alan is now also training on his. I got him turned loose, full-time concentrating on the ERP servers and the VM and getting to that next level of sysadmin. He's getting his duties rearranged and all that also. So I did not bring my book. I'm sure I got notes in that book. But other than that, we're just steady chopping away. It's going good. Any questions?
Anybody have anything for Livingston? Good report, Livingston. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, now to Annette.
We are in the process of going through applications for our third shelter position. On September the 22nd, Decades Arcade hosted an event called Tad's Pinball Wizard Challenge in honor of a friend that they had lost. They had 42 players, and all proceeds benefit the shelter. So our September numbers, we took in 17 strays. We had 3 bite quarantines, 15 owner surrenders. We had 7 dogs reclaimed, 21 adoptions, 11 transferred to rescues. Right now we have 7 cats. 2 are going to PetSmart, 2 are going to rescue. And we have 7 dogs. 2 are adopted waiting to go home, and 2 of those are going to rescue. And we have several adoption events coming up this month. That's it.
You have any influx from kitten season or something?
No, we've been helping Mad Cats, which been doing a bunch of hoarding cases.
All right.
So we've been taking in kittens to help them out.
Okay. But they're adopting out quickly.
Yes, sir.
Good. Please.
Any influx coming in from the North Carolina, Tennessee?
No, we had several people call to see if we were going to take some of those, but I had a bunch of owner surrender in county, so we weren't able to help this time.
Other questions for Annette? Annette, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, moving on. Consent agenda, we have minutes from 9/24/2024 and 10/02/2024. What would y'all like to do?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We don't have a public, we have no special appearances. We have no public hearings, no old business, new business. We got some real important stuff. Ellie Road speed request. You've talked to VDOT. They're going to do this. Please. Please, no, why not? I feel bad about it now.
This is one, I do not believe we put to VDOT. If memory serves me correct, the board has to take a vote to by action request the speed request. A little bit of background on this. The residents didn't specify a section of Ellie Road they want to see the speed drop. Was it 35? I think was the request.
So the resident first asked for it to be reduced to 45, but then he called back and later asked for it to be reduced to 35 in hopes that at least 45 is approved.
So the section of the road, I looked up there.
Strategy.
So I looked up the section of the road where they live at. They're just down beyond the Tom Johnston Road intersection with Ellie Road. So they did not specify. I know that's going to be something that VDOT asked. I will give them the address of the individual, just maybe that'll narrow the scope. But as far as speed reduction requests, that has to be an action by the board.
All right.
Similar to what you did for
Yeah.
Etland Road recently.
We need to have some type of procedure on doing this. Because if not, everybody's just going to start calling and ask, and we've got one person requesting this. Do we have a speed study on Ellie Road?
We do not have a speed study
I
on
would
Ellie
think that
Road.
we need to get that first to see if people are actually speeding over the entire portions of Ellie Road before we arbitrarily just drop the speed limit based on one person. Because you know there's 5 other people that think it should be 70.
We
is that a
will.
practice?
Yeah, hearing you, Mr. Chairman, we will first reach out to law enforcement and see if they've already done some speed enforcement or preliminary stuff, and then we'll come back. On Ellie?
What
So
does
we
it
do
say,
have that
Brian?
section.
They're not here.
Here you go.
Yeah, no, you get in my pocket, Mike.
The sheriff's office ran the speed studies on there, both radar and the signs. I'd have to go back and look. Most everything was between 45 and 55. Speed limit's not posted, so I was talking to the sheriff's office. It's assumed to be 55 miles per hour on that section. Now, they did not run it on the section where the line divides the roadway. This is just from Tom Johnston to Oak Park where there is no line.
What do y'all want to do here? I mean,
Well, I guess the order, having a motion to have our county administrator request a speed study on Ellie Road would be the first step, I guess, right? Now, that's different
what,
than.
different than the internal
I would agree with
study?
that. Well, they're just going to ask us as law enforcement, because they claim they're low on resources, and we typically are the same way with our deputies. But I think that's probably the correct way, Mr. Yao, is request a speed study, and we'll work with law enforcement to try to get the data in the format that they like.
All right, well, to clarify for me, so if we request a speed study like we did for Etland Road, does that request go to VDOT, or is that basically, it goes to VDOT, but then they ask our sheriff's department to do it?
So what they'll,
No, that's what it sounds like.
So-
It sounds like that we go down the formal request path.
Yeah.
They're gonna do something. VDOT is gonna park 6 or 7 trucks out there, it sounds like, and observe. But it sounds like we're gonna utilize the sheriff in the first place.
That is correct. So I think if you so take action, just direct staff or take by vote, direct staff to request a speed study from VDOT. And then we'll internally go back and look at data we already have. If it's not sufficient, we'll work with VDOT to get them that information.
Right. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. See if they'll give us a recommendation too.
Once they do the speed study, yes. Yeah, that'll be a part of their full
All right, I
report.
hope so. else on the speed study on Ellie Road? When would you like to do the Christmas luncheon?
So, Ms. Hoffman, although she's retired from the Board of Supervisors, she did offer to help moving forward, and we just do not let people go away that easy. So, Kim had reached out on our behalf, and she has agreed to continue with planning of that. So, December the 13th is a Friday. We have tentatively reserved the firehouse, so we know it's available. But the board normally sets that date. So that's the date that staff is recommending. And I believe we have it from normal hours of 12 p.m. to 2 p.m.
Kim, do you have comments about this?
I'm just excited she's helping.
There you go. Does everybody have things against December 13th? Is everybody okay with December 13th? Good. Christmas luncheon, December 13th.
All right, got it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Does anybody have anything we need to discuss? Information and correspondence. Brian, tell us about the radio coverage testing.
Okay. Thank you. It's been a long couple of weeks. We had a lot of moving pieces with this coverage test. The first part of this was scroll down to one where it says in building. I think we should have that one. There we go. So this is what's considered a 6 dB loss, considered very light construction. Consider your normal single-story A-frame home that we can penetrate with approximate 6 dB loss. This is not an exact science. The heavier the building construction, the more dB loss you may have, obviously. We tested 1,385 tiles. We tried a first attempt and then a second attempt. Second attempt was passed. In most cases, we moved about 3 feet and got coverage. That tested out at 95.31%. The second part of that was going back and testing the ones that failed, and that was considered our on-street with no dB loss. Of those, we tested 1,384 tiles, and 3 failed, bringing our total radio coverage to on-street to 99.78%. Just as a reminder, our current system was estimated at 60% coverage. I think that's a very liberal estimate. I think we're actually much lower than that, probably around 50, 55%, somewhere in there. As it stands right now, we had coverage in places with a portable that we have not been able to talk out on a mobile before. So it's very, very encouraging. We also did in-building testing. There were some buildings that we had some difficulty with, primarily on the Woodbury campus. We are actively searching for remedies to that as it stands. On street coverage, we were fairly good around Woodbury. You'll see right there the 6 dB test. We had several areas around campus, the little red squares denote tiles that failed. Different areas you can see up in the area of Weekly Hollow. You're between 2 mountain ranges there. Where I was most impressed with that is the on-air coverage dramatically improved those coverage areas. Happy to answer any questions or anything that I did not cover. I know that's a lot of squares to look at, a lot of data for sure.
So, Brian, how does this actually happen? You guys have to ride around the county?
We rode to every square on that street.
Good golly.
Yeah. And when I say we, it was a combination effort. Gavin, Noah, Sean Ferguson, myself, coverage team, Motorola. It was a lot of people. Radar Finks did a lot of drive time.
That's very, I mean, going from 61 optimally to 99.78% without the 6 decibel loss in building. I mean, that's just super impressive and should increase public safety in every way.
Yes.
And we know that we had all kind of problems during fires, and I'm sure the floods had massive problems again. But I mean, this is taking a long time, but this is big steps in the right direction.
Correct.
So those units, I can't remember exactly what you were going to put into the school system that you got the grant for?
Correct.
Can you put some of those in Woodbury's?
No, those were written under federal law and passed by Congress. We have to use those. We said we were going to use them.
Oh.
The schools tested very well, to my surprise. I thought they were going to be too heavy construction. The high school, middle school, and primary school all tested at nearly 100%. The only one that did not test well was Waverly. We're going to install the BDAs anyway as a method of insurance, just in case anything happens. No price is too big for our kids. We need to put things in those schools to make that work.
All right, thank you.
Bill, have questions or thought on this? Brian, thank you, and everybody else that participated, pass it along to everybody else.
Yes, sir.
Jonathan, you got anything on this one?
No, just grateful for the team. I mean, this project's been in queue for a while. I thought it was pretty cool because I remember having those conversations with Mr. Finks, who used to lobby for this update, and just to see it carry through the lineage. And those who all participated, they won't tell you this, but they picked up multiple slots that were available. So the dedication is felt and recognized, and we appreciate y'all.
And one big thing, this project's been in queue since 2013. So we're coming up on 11 years of working on this, and we're within 6 weeks of turning everything on.
Great, thank you. Bill? All right, DEQ water supply plan update.
All right, as you may recall, DEQ regulations required a water supply plan. What we have done over the years, Madison, and we would incorporate the town with our water supply plan. This regional effort, they would like to see one plan for the region. So you may recall there were regulations that they were going to update, so they put everybody on hold because initially the update was supposed to occur in 2023. So this letter is giving notice that that regulation has been published. What they are asking for now is that for localities, let me go to that in the packet, forgive me. I was looking at the updated regulation online. They're asking for localities to provide DEQ with the contact information. You're supposed to have a regional planning area representative and a alternate representative no later than 60 days from this, from the regulation or December the 8th, 2024. I would recommend, and sorry you came in here later, I would recommend myself primary and Mr. Gordon as the alternate. I do know, I spoke with Mr. Clemens today, the general manager of RSA, because they are the authority. They'll have a role within planning because they are the provider of water. So they are key and aware of this. But for Madison's representatives, if it's the pleasure of the board, I'd like to go ahead and make contact with DEQ and provide my name and Brian's name. We will most likely, I imagine there will be some solicitation with Planning District 9, or better known as Rappahannock-Rappahannock Regional Commission. But we have some time to work on that. But the next benchmark is providing them with the points of contact for the regional planning area representative.
All right, what's everybody think about Jonathan being our primary contact and Brian being our alternate?
Yeah.
All right.
Brian,
what do you want?
you said Gordon, right?
Yeah, Brian Gordon.
Okay, my apologies.
No.
I thought I heard Daniel, so I just
he's
want
the only one here. What do y'all want to do? We need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the county administrator and Jonathan Weekly and Brian Gordon, the deputy county administrator, to handle this for us.
A second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Congratulations, gentlemen. You'll get back to us when plans start.
We will. Further in that letter, it talks about a regional planning unit kickoff meeting will occur April 7th, 2025. So again, it will take some time to develop these. It's going to be interesting because I sat in on the call I think it's once a month. We have a chief administrative officer call, Patrick Monty kind of host that, and then the county administrators. And our region is very unique. Fauquier is in that, but Fauquier is a little more Northern Virginia. Culpeper kind of does their thing. Rappahannock really is not a lot of planning because they have said no growth. So the folks we have normally worked with, traditionally the counties that make up RSA, is generally what our water supply looks like. But so it'll be interesting. I think overall they want to make sure that your water supply is solvent, not just about current but beyond years. And if there's any risk, they're identified and a plan for mitigation. So again, long road ahead of us, but it'll be interesting based on where you withdraw your water.
All right. Anybody else have any questions or thoughts on that? All right. Back to public comment. Is there any public comment? Nobody's watching. That's a bummer. No closed session, what would you like to do?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you all. Yeah, exactly.
Load 'em up.
Exactly. Good. We have to go to you. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, probably so.
Thank you, Hannon.
Really? How old is she?